Hello everybody, I'm Martin. Welcome to another episode of Minecraft Enigmatica 2 Expert. Today, let's continue on trying to make the creative tank and moving on to more of its prerequisites. And by that, I mean making Anglecite, which is one of the two extended crafting recipes that we have to automate to be able to make this going forward. And we need it for more recipes than just the creative tank. It's used in a bunch of pieces, including the Infinity Booster card for our wireless crafting network. But it's used in a bunch of extended recipes as well, including the Infinity Catalyst, which is used in a bunch of other recipes. Anyways, the takeaway is that we want to automate as much of this as reasonably possible, because we're going to be using it quite a bit. Good news is we already have a good chunk of this done, because these clathrates are all from the planets we've already explored. The next set of crystals are all from our environmental tech void miner, but the remaining ones, other than the capacitor, are all a bit on the weird side, as well as the singularity, but we'll get to that later. Thankfully, with the capacitor, all we have to do is automate it, because we haven't yet. But the remaining 4 items are all a bit on the weird side because they require mob spawned soul vial items, which have to get passed into a soul binder and have to have experience spent to process the items. So it gets to be a bit on the more complicated side. Gotta be honest, I haven't actually automated this sort of setup in the past, although I've seen it done. Now we could use like the mob duplicator and put a mechanical user with a bunch of soul vials and capture them on spawn that way, wire it up with a bunch of redstone, but that sounds silly, when we could just do this with a powered spawner from Ender.io, because these are made by default to have a mode that lets them capture the mobs they spawn straight into a soul vial for us. So I guess let me get the 4 critters that I need for these 4 spawners. I'm going to have a shulker, a villager, a witch, and an enderman. So I've got all the soul vials now, and fun fact, I spawned a Gaia Spirit specifically to get a witch because it was easier than flying around looking for them. Anyhow, I'm going to build everything here in my secondary automation lab because there's at least a lot of open space for now. We'll see how long that lasts. So I've got everything in here wired up now, and honestly it wasn't all that hard to do. This part was pretty straightforward once I realized the powered spawners could do this. The one hitch I ran into is that you'll see that the encoded pattern here says soul vial and not what is in the soul vial. This made it a little bit complicated to know what was in what, so you're going to have to manually sort it to do it. I also have it outputting 10 at a time into here, so that we always have some stored, because these do take quite a while to produce, so it's good to have a backup for when we need to start making more of them. Okay, so now I've got the soul binder added onto the array here, and what good is the soul binder without any XP to drive it? Because right here you can see that it currently has 0, and normally we've been adding it manually. So I went and added an experience obelisk next to it, which I believe is the correct way of doing this. It just has to be next to it, and you want to have it set to push into the soul binder itself. It won't automatically send it, nor will the soul binder automatically pull it. It has to be the obelisk pushing out to it. Now, that said, the obelisk has to have experience coming in from somewhere. You can see that it has a bunch of liquid XP in there, and that's because I'm pulling an essence from my mob farm via this ender tank. Now, another fact that it says 0 is because we've been completely filling up the obelisk, but essence is not the same as the liquid XP inside the obelisk. And to accomplish the changeover, we're passing it through an industrial foregoing fluid dictionary converter to swap it from essence into liquid XP, which is then filling up the obelisk and passing it over to the soul binder. So this solves 3 out of 4 of the items we needed. However, there is a catch left on the last one though, the ender resonator, because we need to add a slice and splice to actually make the item, which thankfully isn't that hard, we just haven't done it yet. So I guess the only option is to actually go add it to the system, so I did that. And I tossed a couple of premium tools in here because they're unbreakable, and they're easy to make at this point. I already have it mostly automated versus Tinker's.io stuff, which does take a while. As you can see from my crafting terminal, they are craftable now, and I've already made some to prove that it actually works. So that solves all of the subcomponents except for the one in the very center that we haven't done yet, the quantum entangled singularity. And its recipe is just drop a singularity in ender dust and blow it up, which could possibly be problematic, eh? But I think it can be solved with a creeper statue, so let me try to put together a device. So good news, bad news. The creeper statue and the device, which is just like my atomic reconstructor one, works. The bad news, however, is we can't use this to automate it. because the quantum entangled singularities have NBT data because they come out paired. This is a problem because packaged auto does not have the means to ignore NBT data like AE2 does. So because we only need like 100 in some of these total, I think, I'm just going to go manually blow up a whole bunch of these and put them in a box. That sound good? And boom goes the creeper. So this should last us quite a while, and honestly, if I do need more, I can just toss a couple more stacks on the ground and blow them up and repeat this. So as you can see, I've got everything set up around a combination crafter. I've got all the pedestals loading in all the items. They're all wired up to Ender-Eye conduits with filters for everything, and that shulker box is directly providing the singularities to the combo crafter, so it's not going through the system at all. They're just always being available. So this got us one step closer to the creative tank though, which is a really good amount of progress, honestly, even though this particular one is a short one. The next two steps, however, are going to be extremely problematic, which is making the I have no idea how to pronounce that, but that's the magic version of this one, as well as killing the Chaos Guardian. Anyhow, if you found this episode interesting and entertaining, please consider leaving a like or subscribing if you're new. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.